Are you prepared? G'day. Sometimes photos can be luck. In fact, I got one last night. However, preparation is the key for many good shots that you can get. Sometimes when you know something, an event is coming up, you visualize the picture you want in your mind and you go off hoping to get that. Well, you don't always get that, but sometimes you get those and those are just as good as that. But if you know ahead of time what you're going to be facing, then you can prepare. You prepare your mind, you know what you're in for, you prepare your gear, take the right camera, take the right lens or lenses, flash if you need one, whatever. Sometimes you can even prepare what you wear. Sometimes you might need gumboots. Other times a sun hat. Being aware so you can prepare helps you get better shots. I'll give you some examples. We just had this major Aurora thing happening here. Northern lights were going off down south here in Australia. We got some good auroras. We knew it was coming. So photographers everywhere were busy trying to figure out where they wanted to be and what they wanted in their shot and what gear they'd take. And that's part of the preparation. I had a good long think and thought, where would I go? I could stay local, but there was a site I'd been to and I had this picture in mind of what I wanted. It was down on the coast, Flinders, blowhole, and there's this rock pool in front of the ocean. And I wanted the Aurora reflecting in the rock pool. Would be really good. That's part of the preparation, knowing where you're going to go, how to get there, how much time it takes. Have you got petrol in the car? What else do you need? Bit of food, certainly a water bottle, especially if something's going to last for hours. So, preparation. Warm clothes, cold night, simple things to think about. But if you don't do those things, you'll suffer for it. So what else can you do? Well, in my case last night, I was going down to the coast in the dark. So I took 2 head torches and a little red torch that are very useful when there's other photographers around. Took my camera, of course. I'll get into that. But decent footwear, because I'm clambering around over rocks and things. Waves are coming in and stuff, so you have to be ready for that sort of thing. But what else do you need to know? Well, I'm on the coast, so where's the tide going to be? So I checked beforehand what the tide was going to be like, because I knew that beach and those rocks. I knew what was underwater, high tide, and what was not underwater. So I had to plan where I would be able to stand on the beach before I even went down there. Preparation. Being in Aurora, I looked at various Aurora sites that showed me maybe the scale of the Aurora, maybe when it might peak, things like that. So again, preparation. Looked at the weather. Is it going to be raining? Preparation. When you're photographing astro or an Aurora event or something, you want to know, is it going to be a clear sky? So I can check out what the cloud cover is going to be like about the time of the Aurora. I can look at these things beforehand. Preparation. Now there's websites I use for all these things. Basic ones like the weather, okay. But there's websites that show you cloud cover in your area. There's websites about the Aurora activities. There's websites for tide times. Key in your location where you want to be and it'll show you tides. So you'll look at all these things so you know what you're in for and you can prep beforehand. I'll put links in the description of the websites I use. Apart from the weather, which is Australia, Bureau of Meteorology here, I think the other sites are worldwide. You key in your location and you get the information. So very useful. I always check these websites before I go out somewhere. Then there's other things like, what's the moon phase? Well, if you want to do astro, it's really good to know, is there going to be a moon? Where's it going to be? When does it rise? When does it set? Because if there's a full moon rising going right through where you want to shoot. Now he's going out. A waste of time. So prepare beforehand. With an aurora though, it happens when it happens, and you can't say, oh well, the moon's half full and yeah, I'll wait a week, because it might not be there. With an aurora, you got to get out when it's happening, no matter the conditions, see what you can find. So I went down to Flinders. It's not a big tourist location, the blowhole. You go down a dirt road, little car park, holds about six cars. Car park was full, of course, but so was the road going down to it. There were people everywhere because it's a good spot to photograph the aurora. I get there and the car park's at the top of the cliff, and there's like a heap of photographers all up there, set up all in a row along the fence. But I'd been there before. I knew if I walked down to the beach, to the rocks, I could get much better shots because there's some foreground interest. You're not just shooting across the vague seascape and aurora. I've got rocks, I've got the rock pool, I've got the reflections. I think I get a better result. So went down there. There was only one other guy down there who also knew the area. So we started off with the beach and the rocks to ourselves, and we could set up where we wanted, get the right composition, start shooting. A couple of things happened. First up, I got my best shots in the first 15 minutes. I spent another 4 hours there. None of those shots were as good. I even got there early because the aurora wasn't supposed to peak for another hour at least, but it was going off. And then when it was supposed to peak, it had calmed down. So these aurora sites and predictions are vague. Okay, we knew an aurora would be happening, but exactly when in the night was up for debate. So yeah, maybe get there early. Started taking shots, and then some more tourist-minded people, shall I say, came down. They only had phones and things, not even tripods for them. And there was a bunch of them sort of for the rest of the night come down, and they were walking around all over the rocks and shining torches everywhere and being a general nuisance. A lot of people turned up to photograph the aurora, and they're like, I'll just wander around in front of everyone shining a torch everywhere. So yeah, a bit annoying. That being said, one of the shots I got was because one of these clowns had walked in front of everybody and was standing there shining his torch around, being totally oblivious, and it was a bit like light painting. I didn't ask for him to do it. I was rather annoyed actually, but the shot turned out alright. So there's another thing. Don't delete your photos till you get home and look at them on your computer, because you never know what you'll get. Another thing about preparation, the gear. Okay, I took my Fujifilm X-H1, not because it's the best Fujifilm I've got, it's pretty good, but because it's got the battery pack. It'll last for hours. So I set that up on the tripod, and that was my continuous shooting camera, because I don't have to change batteries, it just keeps going and going and going. So if you've got a battery pack on one of your cameras, that's a very handy thing. That had the same yang, 12mm, I wanted wide angle, because the aurora tends to move around a bit, okay, and you never know exactly where it's going to start and finish. So wide angle is good. And also then it includes astro, which also makes the photo look good. Had a good tripod it was on, spikes on the end, so it was nice and solid on the ground. It's another bit of preparation. And set up your gear. Sometimes I forgot a step, so I'd set the shutter speed, set the aperture, set the ISO, then I'd forget to set the white balance, and over the course of a night doing astro or whatever, the white balance would move around a bit. If I put the photos together, I see all these changes. Lock in your white balance as well as your other things. So there's a tip. Yeah, so although you can luck it out and go somewhere and just take a shot without knowing everything about where you're going and what's going to happen and planning all your gear and everything, if you want to be more consistent in getting good results, plan ahead. And it's not just about which lens you'll take, it's about the whole environment that you're going to be in, because if you're going to be somewhere for several hours, the more prepared you are, the more comfortable you'll be, and the more happy you'll be. But whatever camera you got, whatever lens you slap on it, wherever you're going, pick it up, take it for a walk and have some fun. Bye.